All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Bookmap Coaching and Mentoring, the Bookmap Academy meeting. We do this every week. This is on Thursdays at 4 p.m. market close. And the goal here is to go through your trades, open the mic for you guys, hold on a minute here. Let me share my screen over Discord. Sorry about that. Yeah, you might want to come over to and join our Discord Academy or Discord chat room and the Academy area. Let me briefly show you about joining and what this means. For those of you over on YouTube and interested in the Academy, just go to bookmap.com, click on the More button, and then click under Community, go to Bookmap Academy. And you can apply here. You can read through it. But we're here to give you feedback on your trading. This is what a lot of people are looking for, and we want to provide this for you. And this is a very different format here in this webinar to give you feedback and to listen to you. It's not about us, it's about you and your trading. Then you can read through this whole Academy process here. So when you apply for the Bookmap Junior Academy. You start creating content. We start to look at it. We give feedback on it. And then if it starts to meet a threshold, then we will. And let me show you what I mean by threshold. It's basically up here. And this was something Slowdown, one of our coaches, presented. And it's a progress here, or progression, from just identifying things on the chart to begin with, and then refining that over time, knowing what you're looking for, starting to understand the context of these elements. And then number three is this comes into a focused study for yourself. And this is exactly what he did and went through this process, and this is what he trades. That's the goal in here, is for you to hone your trading strategies through your own self reflection here on your trades and what resonates with you. Okay, and we'll give you feedback along the way. All right, so you can sign up here from this page, and you can read through it. You can get Bookmap for free. You can get data for free if you become a Bookmap coach, and you can become a Bookmap streamer as well in here. So let's see. I need to go through the. Hold on a minute here. The disclosures, and then we'll jump right into it. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so we've got a coach here today. We've got David. He's going to go through, he's going to start first and go through and give us feedback on slowdown and stands markups, and then I'll go and we'll go through a few other traders as well. So now turn it over to you, David, and guide me where to go.
Sure. Good evening, good afternoon, traders. Great to catch up again. I think, Bruce, we've got we're outdoing you here. We've got two English guys because you're alone as the one American, Bruce, on the stage. But we'll work our way through. So first of all, thank you everyone for doing their posts and the spreadsheets and everything else. Appreciate the time that it can take to do all of that, and also thank you in advance for putting up with people like myself sort of rambling and going through the charts. It's always great to see, as I will describe, another lens, another view on the market. We're all playing the same sort of pitch, but we sit in different parts of the stand in the stadium. So it's always good to see that. Great charting from Slowdown. Great trading as well, buddy. So congratulations on that. The chart that I've picked there, Bruce, and that one there that was kindly posted in Discord. This, I believe, is a trade that's the screen is just before the open. You can see on the far left-hand side, the 7:30. I think you're a couple of hours behind Eastern. I was talking about this last week, Bruce, in terms of how you get these, whether I describe them as suckers punch, you can describe them as suckers punch, fake outs and so forth. Now, the opening RTH bell goes, we see the volume come in, the price scoots up, it's coming off some overnight high, some other level, and then immediately it pretty much does a 180 and then goes down. It's not about trying to always predict and everything else in the market, although we all wish we do have that crystal ball, Bruce. I know that. But very much for me, as those that see my posts that I do in Discord elsewhere, it's that sort of BTD. So when I see a pullback, we can talk about today later, but when I see a pullback, I'm then really, I've locked myself in. When are we going to do the 180? When are we going to reverse? And when we look at the great chart here by, we can see you got a lot of volume picking up in terms of selling, Bruce. So if you look at the word CVD, positive CVD, above that, you've got a nice large red bar, pink bar. But actually, the price doesn't move very much, does it, Bruce? You've got a lot of selling, but actually a lot of effort's gone in, but it hasn't really blipped the needle that much. It's then coming down and in that mindset of, okay, are we going to reverse up? And yes, we do. We start to see some lower volume, some lower order flow, and immediately the price just really starts to pick up. And as Slowdown has pointed out, you've got the CVD, perhaps more in a reactionary way, but that's picking up, which is great to see. We then see just to the slightly right of that, as he's pointing out, you've then got more volume coming in, but the volume's not as big as the sell down. I'm going to ignore the opening volume because it's the opening volume. But the buying volume that's going in here is less, and yet the price is scooting up. So it's easy there to say, I appreciate we're all fantastic traders on the left-hand side of the chart. We're all Ivy League traders, you know, when it comes to that. But the price is moving with less volume. So that's a real key indicator on the order flow here, that the buyers at the moment have got the ball and they're running to it. As highlighted on here, we've got a VWAP as a voodoo level, as I call it, some witchcraft. We just go straight through that. The volume drops off as we go off that, and then it rotates back down. And that's where Slowdown is starting to get in, I believe, which is a great level to lean into. We, again, looking at the volumes that are going into that. And what's then should be catching the eye, if it hadn't already, is the higher liquidity that's at the sort of 531275 at the top there, Bruce. That higher liquidity, if we can see, came in just before the bell, just before the opening bell. And what I like to do, and again, I do often post that in Discord, and I use my sort of abbreviations on Trader Map Pro, Bruce, in terms of like large lot traders, is getting the lens and seeing on a separate tab how that liquidity is building. So it's there as a flag. Now, if Scott was on the call or JTrader Joseph, you guys would be talking about magnetic and so forth. But either way, that is some liquidity. So as we start to move, it's in the lens of, okay, that's going to be likely a target. Will we get there in one go, or will we pull back? Who knows? Once we've come off that VWAP, you can see volume is picking up. You've then got additional liquidity sort of bumper bars coming around it, which is a bit frustrating as a trader, because you think, oh, no, for the love of God, please, let's get up there. And then in that final burst, the volume comes in and it kicks the ball into the back of the net. It's the money shot, and it hits into that liquidity. I'm not quite sure if the liquidity got pulled there, Bruce. Sort of looking at the screenshot there, it does look like there's a little bit of pulling out of the liquidity, and maybe it wasn't all full, but it's hard to see from that screenshot. I don't know what you think on that.
Yeah, that's a tough one to see.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's hard to say because the delta dots are, will kind of aggregate. So
Yeah.
on the zoom out.
Yeah. But great trade management, nice charting. You've put in the targets, which is good. You've got your first target there, and then you got your second target and your front running, which is very, very sensible, particularly with that building liquidity at the 5310 level, and you're there. Yeah, it's a great trading, great charting, and apart from today where we had that sell down, that sort of great BTD approach, and as I reiterate the point, that sort of anticipation. So today I called it wrong. I know this isn't necessarily about David. In the post before the open, Bruce, I was saying in spot gamma, the market was really aggressively bid this morning. And I often talk about the Swiss National Bank. They were bidding the hell out. The market went up, nearly 15, 20 handles, ETH, into pretty much the Chicago Open. I was expecting it to wash back again. It's that anticipation. And that's the same you've got on this chart. You have the opening, it goes up, it pulls back, the anticipation. Are we going to then continue the trend upwards or not? So not trying to get too biased and bent out of shape, but trying to anticipate, as we all do, what is likely to happen and sort of sketching that in your mind. So when it does come together, you're ready as a scalper to execute as a discretionary trader. Over to you, Bruce. Catch me, please. Unpack me.
No. It's kind of funny. I actually spoke to Slowdown during the week, and I don't think he's in here tonight or today. But I was kind of saying, like, where are you going with this? Like, these are new studies, and he's got kind of indicators and other things on here, and it's something he's looking at, not an anchored VWAP, but he's looking at a regular VWAP, and he does have some lines on it, and what he was kind of looking for was lining up some of the second standard deviation moves
Nice.
with high liquidity and some of the as kind of targeting, and also kind of just regular basic trend kind of direction, and also CVD, another thing, like he wasn't looking at those things before, and it's I'm not sure how far he's going to take this, or if it's just kind of a study right now. He's looking at the things though from the cash session, and
Okay. Good. Good.
yeah. So it is for the day, and that's kind of what he has. But you can see, like, him reacting, just like you said, to some of the moves in here, and some of the drives, and then like this pullback on a potential continuation here, and then looking for it to continue, and gets out top of the range, and then holds it till high liquidity up in here, and yeah, I think he's maybe looking at just kind of a bigger picture, kind of moves, and yeah, studying some lines. I don't know. It was just kind of a detour, I thought. So I wasn't sure where he was going with that. And yeah, I would love to hear him maybe explain a little bit more, but we don't have him in. So anyway.
But as that traded, as we've talked about over the weeks now, in terms of whether you're taking out 4 handles, 5 handles, so as I've tried to badly type in the chat there, Bruce, when I talk about handle, I call it 1 point. So if you've gone from as I've typed in there, 5293, and you've gone up to 5303, that 10 is, I'm calling it 10 handles, right or wrong sort of thing. But it's nice to see he's just taking what looks like 4 or 5 handles out. That's fantastic. We love that. We all love that feeling, whether you've just started trading, you've been trading a lifetime, taking some handles, some greenery, positive greenery out early on the move is a beautiful feeling. So well done, absolutely well done.
Yeah, simple trade, like he says up here. Okay, so since Slowdown's not in, let's move on, and maybe we'll go over Stan. And I don't think Stan's in here. Yeah, Stan is not in here. But I thought we'd jump in and take a look at his.
Yeah, sure. So he's got a trade which is just towards the dying embers of my session, my sort of London session, the extended trading hours, ETH, into the cash hours, the RTH. And there can be some really nice money to be had on that, that's for sure. Although, if I come back to my words, Bruce, of sucker's punch, very often you will see, and you being plural will see, as we approach the opening cash bell, that you'll see moves come in, whether it's on the DOM or wherever you're seeing it on the bookmap chart, and I'm adamant they are to wrong foot people. They really are to catch people out. So I'm always very, very cautious. And if there's something I'm going to add to this good bit of charting here by Stan, is along those lines. So we can see on the far left side. So we've got about 30 minutes or so to the opening bell. This is on New York time, as we can see. Again, I'm going to say you've got that little red dot there, Bruce, which is on the sort of 700 side. It's not really moving the market. And then we can quickly see just to the right of that. So we've got the far left of the chart, please, Bruce, with your pencil. So go a bit lower down, lower down, lower down. Keep going down, 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 down. Down, 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 a bit to the left.
Over
That
here.
area, yeah, perfect. My bad.
Okay.
So yeah, you got that little, you got 700 of selling. Doesn't really move it. We've got a little bit of buying comes in, and that really does move it. So again, giving you those sort of signals, who's in control? You're not going to put the whole house on it, but you're thinking, okay. And then the price really starts to move up with not a lot of volume. Again, we're still in extended trading hours. But what does kick in now, in my mind, is gold and oil. Typically, I use the word typically, Bruce. Chicago opens 30 minutes before New York, doesn't it? So you've got the gold and oil markets have just started. So that can be, we were talking about time of day last week and the week before. That's in my mind. So at 9 o'clock, the commodity markets are starting. So we're back. We've got then, as highlighted, we've got then the liquidity that's in that area, which is the 5262, and the price scoots up there on not a lot of volume, gets filled, and I could say as expected, then pulls back. And it's pulling back with no real volume. There's not a trade there, to me anyway. You've got no volume. It can scoot anywhere. That could have gone right back down. That could have gotten down to the 5256 or even lower pre-cash. But it's found a level, and then it starts to go back up with no real volume until we get to about 9:10. So 20 minutes before the cash market opens. We can see we've got liquidity starting to build at the 52625 level. So you've got some support building in, 2-3 handles. That's it, 2-3 handles below, which is good to see. That support, when I see that, as we'll all see that, is it there because those traders want to get in to a long, or do they want to get out? Do they want to cover the short? We don't necessarily know. What I would be looking for there, and there's nothing there on the number of 295, is whether there's a vertical white line for any large lot traders. And if I see a large lot trader line on there, then I'm looking at my TM Pro chart as well, Bruce. Again, just to get a scale of what the bigger boys and girls are perhaps doing. The price then scoots back up. The volume's picked up a bit, but it's still small. It's really small. We saw on the left-hand side of this chart, Bruce, we've got 700 plus. And this is tiny volume. For me, typically, I do not like to trade, but anything below 200. That's not me dropping 200, but while I'm seeing less than 200 on a chart, I'm really not interested. So for me, in that area there, the time of day, I'd be looking to sit on my hands unless I'm perhaps looking at some other charts. I might be looking at NASDAQ. I might be looking at some of the equities, some of the bigger equities. Or maybe there's some news hitting the wires, and it's like, okay, we're starting to go up, but the boys and girls on ES have not yet woken up. We've got the higher liquidity, Bruce, at the 5265, which, as rightly highlighted, is an area of potential exit. But I have to say myself, this time of day, I wouldn't be convinced, Stan, that there was a trade to be had. And I don't think he's necessarily saying there is a trade to be had. He's just right. He's got some good charting, pointing out liquidity and how it sort of moves. But let me swing into you, Bruce. See what you would like to add into that ramble from David, please.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Stan's analysis. Super simple and straightforward, but the depth behind it, I find, is really strong. And he says in here, not enough to buy to enter long, so he waited. Next setup, relative volume, and that's in the dots. And but there is something really It's a good example, and it's been really volatile lately, so we haven't really seen
Mm.
too much of this. But this is from several days ago. I think the 15th, right? But anyway, the uh, what I do see in here though is let me get this right tool. Um, and this is just classic, what you're kind of talking about, David. Like, so here we have this kind of market structure and the move down. Here we have the move back up above that pretty
Hmm.
strong volume, and there's buyers, and they are able to trade to high liquidity.
Yeah.
And then the picture shifts
Mm.
over some time. We get our low volume pullback back to where it broke out from. I mean, this happens just all the time. So um, after trading to high liquidity, it makes sense we'll get a pullback. We're
Yeah.
getting low volume pullback. Now we come back up here to that high, and this is where we get our shift in the order flow. Here we have high liquidity on the bid. The bid is now skewed, and
Yeah.
now, and
No.
we're kind of in the middle though, right? And
Mm.
there's this high liquidity up here that's been in there at least for this entire session or within this image. And note how we're in the middle, right? The auction, this is just the structure and auction process. You'll see a skew typically, and price will go into the middle. And then what will typically happen a lot of times would be you might get another skew here. This might pull and then add higher. And when it does that, prices will kind of come up into the middle here someplace. And kind of bang around. Let me get a tool. I kind of bang around in here, and then likely to come up here and test,
Yeah.
test the extremes. So this kind of auction process, like I mean, this is pretty good example. I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, they're pulling up here, they're adding down here. There's our skew, and what would be really great is to see a skew in here, and
Mm.
then
Oh yeah, pulling it up. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then now we have a different auction.
Yeah.
And in fact, a lot of times what you'll see is then these guys here pull their liquidity and then they add higher. So now we have a
Yes.
new auction zone. And now what we want to see within that zone is the aggressors. How are they reacting to this liquidity or this liquidity up here? Uh, Very, very simple ideas. We've covered them for years, but it's just worth noting just because it's a nice image that Stan put together. Very simple, but it's not one. Well, he does have VWAP here, but he's not really talking about VWAP. Not
Yeah. It's quite
one.
quite a naked chart, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He's talking about volume, and he's talking about liquidity, and within the price structure within it, and that's it. So, yeah, good stuff, and we're very worthy to cover and review.
Very much. And as traders, you can hear Bruce talking, me talking slightly. David is more perhaps sitting on his hands on this one versus Bruce. See some great trades in there. Fantastic. Where this is as a chart for David is that we can see we've come off 5257. We've gone up. I'm sorry, I keep saying handles here, guys. We're going up sort of 8-9 handles, and it could be an 8-handle move while David's still sitting here holding his mouse. Which is, I'll defend myself. Is nothing wrong with that because I'm waiting for make sure I've got all the my checklist, Bruce, in my mind before I
Exactly.
press the trigger. So you need to be comfortable with what you're trading. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Stan's not quite, he doesn't have a checklist here, but he's saying this is really nice. Not enough. It's not meeting his criteria here. He's going to wait for something better. So these are really simple things, but very worthy, I think, to go over. All right. Well, let's see. I think that's it, David. Right? That's what
Yeah.
we got.
That's
Okay.
yeah. That's the
Um,
two for me.
Let me. There's something I wanted to also bring up, guys. I forgot to mention this earlier. So we're having another competition, crypto competition. It's with educator, Trader's Reality. He's a crypto trader. You can win 1 year of Global plus 1,000 USDT. So you can use your phone, take a screenshot there with the code, and enter. It's going to be from June 10th to the 13th. Okay, so just wanted to mention that. We had a good time. I did, at least, and I think those you guys that joined also had a pretty good time with the crypto competition we had, and then we covered it, in this during this meeting here for the Bookmap Academy, which was great. Anyway, guys, let's jump over and thanks, David. And David, jump in, interrupt me whenever.
Sure, we'll do so.
I always I keep this kind of at the top here, and this is our goal. Like I said, I already covered it, but our progression here, coming in, starting to identify, and maybe you're a veteran trader, but still, it's worthy to start to identify. Maybe you're new to Bookmap, and to identify order flow elements, and what are they? And then in the refinement part, you're going to start putting that into context. You'll start to note things in here about how, and look at the difference between the two charts, right? You have lots of markups, very few markups now. It's becoming a lot less. But you're understanding the context here: high liquidity, volume, etc. A move back to high liquidity, etc. And then the third one finally is getting into your trades, and looking for a setup, something specific, and then you're looking for entry, exit, etc. As you can see, slowdowns, classic Wyckoff spring, a dip below, gets in when he starts to see that volume come back into the range, and he's looking for the other side and maybe continuation. So then that's his first exit, and then looking for a continuation. And not only does he have a checklist in here, this is essential, is to have that checklist, but he also has an image up here. He knows exactly what he's looking for. Yeah, that's where we want to go. So the checklist is the key. So have your checklist for your trades and exactly what you're looking for. All right, so Stephen, we haven't covered Stephen for a few weeks, or maybe more than that. So we got one here for you, Stephen. I really like this image a lot. You're kind of going through the process in here. I don't see your checklist, but what I want to show here is just some beautiful context in here. You've got and nice markup too. Like in the green up here is the higher time frame. Here you have your red rectangle here, which is equal to this one here. And then you're looking more at the order flow. So a drill down, right? So here's your move up, some back and forth in here. And then now you're looking at specifically this pattern in here, and you want to look at some of the order flow within this pattern. And then you've marked it up here. So I'm going to open up the mic for Stephen. I think he's in here, right? Stephen, you're in here? No? Yes? Oh no! After all those other weeks, he was in here, and well, maybe Stephen will come in later. But we'll go through it too. I mean, like that. Our whole goal here is to open the mic for you guys, and listen to you. But anyway. Some good stuff in here with this higher time frame, and oh, okay, Steven's watching on YouTube. He doesn't have a mic. All right, that's a pity. But guys, make sure you can get your mic hooked up, etc., so that we can turn it over to you, because we've done that to Steven before, so I thought he'd be okay. Now Steven's starting to look at his setup in here, and he looks like he entered long down here, and that would be equal to, let's see, lower low, lower highs. that would be this one here. He was entering, and then I guess he took one up here, take profit one, scale out, yeah, and then likely got stopped out. But on the second one, or I'm not sure what happened. We don't see your trading in here, guys. It really is. It's helpful if you can take your trades in Bookmap, so we can cover them. We can give you so much better feedback if you can take the trades in Bookmap. We know exactly what you're doing, where you're placing your stops and take profits, and moving them, and why. But there's a couple of things in here. I'm kind of surprised that you went long here. I get it. I mean, there you see the momentum to the upside. Here's your pullback, but you do mention, or, you circle it here. You got a lot of volume here. This is not a low volume pullback. So that's where, yeah, maybe it starts to do some sort of range bound thing in here. But this is more of, it's something different. It's not a low volume pullback. And we see high volume. We make a lower high. This is what's really nice. You start to identify these things. And then we can also talk about liquidity in here. Higher liquidity up in these areas here. Kind of strange pockets all over the place here. I know that you said you stopped trading. It was kind of a weird day. And it has been weird lately. The last few days, I think, have been really challenging to trade. But anyway, lower high, more selling, a little bit of a back and forth in here, lower high, and then lower low. All right, we're starting to see that shift and transition that we talk about in a reversal pattern. This is key. Keep looking for this. I think this is something that it won't fail you if you can really look for that transition. And what I mean by that is here, look at the buyers compared to the sellers. Now, of course, we don't see that until hindsight, but you start to look for it, and you start to see that shift unfold. Maybe it's the buying starts to kind of slow down in here, and then the selling starts to pick up in here. You will see the shift, not just in the bars. You'll see it in the dots, and also the structure of lower highs and lower lows, etc. Look for the relationship of liquidity in here as well. It is very, very helpful. Anyway, we see a nice kind of reversal pattern in here due to that shift. Yeah, always be on the lookout. And this is where it started, right in here, this little V top, basically. And he pointed it out with the volume. And then a lower high in here. Buyers can't even get back up here. And look at the volume in here for the buy side. Where are they?
On the sell side, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we don't get anything, and yeah, it's no surprise we get some more sellers coming in here, and we get buyers giving it one last shot here, but total capitulation here on the big bar to the downside. Sorry, Stephen. Was looking forward to getting you on the mic in here. But anyway, let's see. That's what I have for Stephen, and yeah, he's got another one in here as well, and I think it was in the same image. So this was the 16th on Thursday, and here's again, look at you can see that transition start to unfold in here. Here's your move to the downside, high volume. This back and forth in here, we're starting to look for, the bars, look at the dots, look at the structure for that transition. And to be honest, or fair here, yeah, we get the move back up here. But this looks to me like, kind of higher time frame, you'll probably get, or at least it looks like it in this image that you would probably get this kind of move down, your back and forth, your move up, but then maybe continuation to the downside. Yeah, anyway.
You do, and if I cut across you, sorry, Bruce, me and my timelines, that 11:30, if I've got the chart right, that's London close. So you've got that from 11:20, 11:15 on this chart, you're running into London Europe closing. So can't recall exactly what was on the left side of this chart, but you'll typically be getting that reversal on the chart as London Europe closes, and that's what this chart is saying to me. So that move up very much driven or influenced by, the bourses across Europe shutting down.
Yeah.
I've talked about many times before.
Yeah. Good point. I mean, times of day together with your trading, and really makes a difference. So yeah, actually, this is that same chart. You can see it over here, the higher time frame in here. So same idea. And let's see. Let me go back to the other one here. Just a minute.
And then it's collapsed, doesn't it? After London's closed, Europe's closed. It's gone south.
Yeah, so it was this. Yeah, exactly. So this was where he was looking at it in here. This big move. This is the pullback here, and then it did do that. Like it just didn't have enough in here. This is your 11:30 in here, and then you do see it kind of. It took a little while, but then you do get the move to the downside.
Yeah. On that chart, Bruce, if you quickly put it back up.
Which one?
Again, there's the first one you showed, please. That's the one, yeah, that one there. Now, apologies, traders, if David's just off guessing, going a bit off the reservation. So at 10 o'clock on this chart, Bruce, you've got that scoot down, which is probably a news event. So it's at 3 p.m. It's that news event. Sorry for my time. It's scooted down. It's gone down with very little selling volume. Now, often on those, if you've got icebergs, you're looking at where the stops have been run and so forth, but it's scooted down on very little volume. Buying comes in, it goes back up. That's a great trade. Not a David trade, that's a Scott trade, isn't it, Bruce? That's a Bolsini trade. Before he messages me on it. But that, for me, that's a lovely trade on the chart there, for sure. And as you're pointing out, where on the far right-hand side, look at the volume. That volume is, let me round it up. That volume is more than double, massively, compared to the volume on the left-hand side of the chart. Is massively bigger than the open. So whatever was kicking through, that is Glock and load time. That really is time.
Yeah. That might have been I don't know, a speaker or something. I'm not sure.
Speaker, or I'm going to round it into the bond auctions. That's stuff that's going on with the Treasury at sort of 1 p.m., 6 p.m. UK time. You get those.
Yeah. I wanted to move on to Alan, and Alan is like, this is what he looks for on a mean reversion trade. And Alan, I think you are in here, so we can open up the mic for you.
Love the charts, Alan. Love the charts, sir.
Yeah, Alan's just he's got some great stuff. Let's see here. There you are.
Hey, Bruce.
Hey, Alan. How are you doing?
Hi, guys. You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one of my
walk us through in here, because you're becoming really good at momentum, stop runs, mean reversions, etc.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing, first confluence is the market pulse. Once I hear that, I mean, I have to hear it going on for like 5-10 seconds. Sometimes you hear 1-2 beeps. So that's like the first confluence. And then I look underneath. Well, I wrote second confluence is lack of buyers, just because that's how it was in this case. So then, if the market is on the higher end, on top of the range, I'll look if there's any Tom B calls obstacles, like any big liquidity obstacles. I kind of put my first box over it. But if you notice, there's from the first box, I wrote the 3 confluences. The first box on the right, it's just straight down to the bottom. There's no really the one next to the left.
Which box are you talking about? I'm sorry.
First box to the first box to the left.
This one, the POC.
On top, which says started to here.
Okay, down. This one. Okay.
So if you look down I put on the standard deviation bands from Anchor DevOps since I want to start getting to understand it better. And you don't see any, like, just look. I mean, I tried to point it out as best as I could, but you don't see any real liquidity, like from the top straight to the bottom. It's like a straight path down. And you correct me if I'm wrong, but uh, if when there's no liquidity and there's no orders or nothing to fill, then from observation of tons of hours of screen time, and the next thing it'll look for is a mean reversion. It'll look for POC and or VWAP, and here it happens to be. I took this one because I saw it all the way on the bottom of the range, like all the way over there, and since the POC is there, and then right underneath is the VWAP. So I figured, and the market pulse kept going, so I just stayed in it until bottom of the range. And usually, once it gets to the bottom, as you see on the right, there's a short squeeze. But I didn't participate in the short squeeze. But this is just an example of mean reversion. I tried to do a checklist on the setup checklist, but I couldn't figure out how to customize it with mean reversion. So I just listed what I look for. It's basically, I mean, it's not that. I mean, I try and like keep it simple, like 2, 3 setups, and then like the money's green. You don't have to make everything so complicated. And this, I mean, this is kind of a momentum mean reversion. No orders, and you see it's kind of real. It's real selling. Like you don't see any stop runs or anything. It's just 16. That's nothing. And so it was real selling all the way down. So I felt comfortable, saying I stayed in at least till POC, because VOPs are underneath, and I like the front run. So that's the pretty much the thesis behind the short mean version, and then vice versa. If the POC or VWAP, and now we have the anchored VWAP, which I'm trying to integrate and understand better. It'll like even like I don't know if you see in the middle the standard deviation bands. I don't understand them 100%, but I figure that they have to also something to do with VWAP, and you can see it kind of like if you notice that the short squeeze it kind of stalls out in that area.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Agreed. Well, I don't know actually if there was something on a lot of these charts. This is I really have kind of a problem with this, to be honest, guys. Like you said, it stalls out because of this, and maybe, but I mean,
I'm not sure.
I would say it's because of this. And do we get a bunch of sellers underneath? No, not enough.
No.
We get a move back up. Now we do have a cluster of sellers, but they're not taking it. They're not willing to take it further at this point here. So we get this move back up, and then you can't see what happened up here, but like
I know
then
it's hard to fill.
then though what you're looking for. So I just want to go. Well, you go through your checklist because you've got first, second, and third. Kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah, like I said before, first market pulse. For a short, I need market pulse because there's no other, at least for me, because I'm always scared of pullbacks and stuff. So I need market pulse to go off to feel comfortable doing a short. Because usually I like to do a short squeeze and ride the momentum up and get out at the first meaningful period. So for a short, a mean reversion short, first thing is I wait for market pulse to go off more than like at least 5 seconds. Like going crazy. Like sometimes, and then I look, if there's any obstacles along the way, as Tom mentions, there was no big buying liquidity along the way, and first confluence. And then
Secondly, the lack of buyers, and
I didn't put it thirdly.
yeah,
I think
thirdly kind of goes. I don't know where it goes, but
I think thirdly. I think I meant sorry. I think thirdly I meant to write look where the POC and VWAP are,
Yeah, yeah.
and if it's below and a market pulse is going off, I have three confluences, and I figured it's and like I said, I don't understand the standard deviation bands 100%, but I noticed like before when you point out the arrow, like it stalls there and it stalls there, and then like you see where I wrote still no buy orders
Yeah, yeah.
on the left side, it like goes right to the green line and stops again. So I said I figured that has to be something to it. You know, I understand what you said before. You pointed to the selling where number three is because the market went back.
Yeah, in here.
Well, well here you're talking about the short squeeze, right?
Well, it's still kind of bouncing back and forth in here.
Yeah,
But
here's a must.
we do have the sellers met the buyers here, right? And we got a
Right.
bounce, but we didn't get much buyers in here.
Yeah,
Not
when
enough to get up
I
here.
covered the, yeah, I covered it. Just went up to the green again. I just didn't have enough room to write everything, so that's what's covered. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you.
No. I'm interrupting you.
Glad I haven't chipped in yet.
Um,
Oh,
it,
thirdly, I wrote this whole box to the right.
oh, okay.
It's kind of the. I guess that's
So
I should have made an
this
arrow next
goes to
to it, you know.
thirdly. Okay.
And when
So,
they're looking at
so
POC
that's
and
where you're
VWAP,
looking for your
the bottom of
target.
the range. Usually, if there are no buyers,
Yeah.
that's the mean reversion. I wrote the first, second, and also the way those bands were holding some sort of support and resistance, and it just broke right through it, like without like a hot knife through butter. So
Yeah.
with all that, another, another that's another thing I didn't put, but I look for. But like if it sometimes it'll break the VWAP or POC with force, like it'll just like it's not even there, like like a monster truck going through Fifth Avenue, it'll just it just goes right through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that
I think well, if I can just butt in for a minute, like a couple of things just kind of stand out to me. Um, First off, your setup, you've kind of written it out here, but I get this feeling like it's very clear in your mind. You know what you're looking for. One,
yeah
two, and three, because you've said this to us on other images, over the months, and this is what you've kind of honed and refined as your plan. And as another thing here, so that's really important. Another thing in here is that in this market, in the NQ that you like, you are actually you're playing in here a momentum move into the
yeah
mean
yeah
reversion here, which is kind of odd idea, but like on a smaller time frame, yeah, it is doing that. But it's a and it's clear that it's doing it. So you know what you're looking for, and then I really like. I mean, like this market. I don't know about you guys, but like liquidity in this market, this happens a lot. It trades into high liquidity and you get a bounce. It trades into high liquidity somewhere and you'll get a bounce. And
yeah
it
all day long,
reacts.
all day long.
Yeah, it really reacts to that liquidity. Now the ES, it kind of will mush around that area a little bit. Might be in front of it. It might go hit it.
Yeah,
It
and
might trade it.
I remember you saying that NQ is easier because follow through, and ES rotates too much, and I that's when I started to look at NQ, and you're right as usual. It has I just like the speed. I know it's something you have to get used to. Like uh, like Michael Jordan used to say, used to practice and practice until like when he shot the ball,
Yeah,
the rim kind of like got opened up wider, and you saw everything moving in slow motion. Like you see it happening before,
the
and
Matrix.
yeah, the Matrix. I don't know if this is the blue or the red pill, but I guess the red everything's red. And
Yeah.
I was gonna write momentum, but I don't want to like confuse everyone because the momentum I get from the market pulse,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to focus on the mean reversion part of it. But yeah, of course, it's a huge momentum swing, goes a straight line to the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's cool too. Like, you had, this is something that we've been covering Rob quite a bit lately, and he's been doing just great. Was something that resonated with him. Like, he was looking at these continuation moves, and he's like, well, I keep on getting stopped out. It's like, I'm going to do the opposite. And so he started studying that. It resonated with him. And then he just took it much further. He turned it into a strategy. So in essence, you've got the same thing here. Like, you know what you're looking for, and then down here, you don't see liquidity or the liquidity that you're looking for. And if there isn't anything, you know that you're targeting your lines down here. Makes good sense. Like, that's what you're looking for. So you're looking for your momentum move at this point. Wait for your market pulse. Wait for that momentum to start to kick up, and then play it down into. There's no liquidity or very little, so you're playing it into your lines in here. So
there's a little bit of consolidation, and I know once it hits the bottom, it'll be a short squeeze. Like yesterday, I was just watching from like 1 to 4 all day long. It goes to the bottom, short squeezes up. Goes to the bottom, short squeezes up, like constantly, like.
Yeah.
And the reason, like you said, it resonates. Like I don't want to say that technical analysis is hocus pocus, but some things like is the magic cross, and if there's all these different stars and all this crap and all these things, and I go, what does that have to do with anything? I mean, I like the POC I know is the most traded. VWAP is the average, and like if the market's gonna go around till like we say, it's an auction. If there was no price acceptance anywhere on top, so there's no really. If you look at the thing, there's no really volume even on the right side too much. But I knew it would get a short squeeze anyway, even volume or not, because it's just the market mechanics.
Yeah.
And it just makes sense. Like market order rules. Some people put order flow on the bottom, but like I can't do something unless I understand why it's happening and what those lines mean and why it makes sense. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, this is the beauty of Bookmap, in my opinion, is that there's this cross or a doji or whatever it is, like all that kind of stuff. It's all order flow.
Exactly.
If you're shooting star, it means that the price went up here, and it auctioned up here, it rejected or failed, or we don't know what happened up here, but it could have been totally absorbed. We don't know. We don't even know where the volume is. We just know that it went up here, it failed, it came back down into the range. Now, on the other side here, we're looking for sellers. And that's the setup. That's what the setup in the candlestick chart is, but who cares? Like, you don't even need this because like, what happens if that you get this candle here and you don't get sellers down here? In fact, what you see is high liquidity on the bid here.
Screwed.
Yeah, I mean, like, this means nothing. It means
you can have a bar going up, but you don't realize there's a huge red line on top. You don't see that on a chart. Like,
right.
I mean, yeah, it happens sometimes. You go long and it busts through it, but for the most part, it's not right. It's a low percentage trade, to low probability to, like, you'll see it, like, if you just look at Ninja or whatever, a basic chart, you'll see a big green line going up, and imagine this was the green line going up, but then all of a sudden, well, you do have orders to the right, far right. There is some liquidity sitting up there, but yeah, I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah. I mean, trying to gather information from these things is what David like kind of mentions as the voodoo. I mean,
the guy did the chat. You can see. Sorry, Bruce. I call it. We've got Magic 8-Ball. Tom talks about that. Tarot cards. We got the Ouija board. Lunar cycles.
Yeah.
Love it. Sorry.
No, I know, Bruce. You make fun of. I took the chartered market technician exam, and level 1, and there is a whole section on lunar cycle technical analysis. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this BS. This is ridiculous. Like you tell me it exists. I swear it exists. Like, I just can't believe it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, whatever works. I just think that the behavior is here in the chart. And
I've also been using this I picked up from JTrader, time and sales more. Maybe this one didn't really show me much, but like I posted a trade today, and like, I have a set, and now I have it set to minimum lot of 10, and
Hmm.
like it was a
Good.
short squeeze, and everything was green,
yeah.
and lots from 10 to 50, everything. This one I didn't. If it's significant, I would circle the whole thing, but it wasn't. But sometimes you've seen like maybe
It's a
like
good lens. I use the filtered as well, and I run one on ES
well, that's it.
over 20, and
If
I
David
run
says
it.
it's good, it's a sign of approval.
Oh, cheers, buddy. Cheers, buddy. But it's a good chart. But what I would also highlight here, we need Moby on the call. I appreciate he's fast asleep at the moment because this is Moby. This is ETH, isn't it, Alan? So this is
Yeah,
pre-open, and it's a tight range. If I can use my handle phrase here, we're at 760 all the way down to 750. It's a 10 handle range. So for NQ, that's yeah,
a lot.
this is close hand combat. Where's Jack when we need him? Where's the Marines? It really is. So well done, sir, for taking that. But there's some lovely bookmap things on this chart. If I ramble a little bit, Bruce, if we go to 725, and then you look at where the price is, you rightly comes off some of the dark arts and the Ouija board and the black cat and the cauldron. Those green those green bubbles that is you could put a ruler to, and I'll often say it's like on the buy-in there, Bruce. You just slightly to the left, bit
Here.
more to the right, bit more to the right, bit more to the right, bit more right, bit more right, bit more.
Short
Yeah,
squeeze.
that area, perfect, sir. That area there, those bubbles. When I see that, I often type it as sort of machine-led algo buying, but it's like bid. When I see that and I see the volume building, and as you've said, Alan, if I've got some time and sales, that is a slam dunk back to Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson. That's a slam dunk. Just start spanking the bid and enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you had another one of my trades underneath where time and sales is
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that you circle. It's all green. That's actually the trade I was telling you about, the one underneath this one. You see
This
how
one.
that one, yeah. I circle time and sales every
Oh, look
single
at
lot.
that.
It's
Yeah.
everything is green. Like I started seven. Every lot is green. So and look at that
Cash hours now. Well done, sir.
and look at that drive up. Like that's also a
Yeah.
momentum drive up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one, this is what I really liked, Alan, as your progression in here, and like just like I had kind of showed earlier here with these three images, slowdown put together of his progression.
Mhm.
The same thing is happening here with yours, and that's why I put this chart in here because like not even over here, the green box, not even one single seller. So, I mean, they're hurting. So you're recognizing that, right? You're starting to really understand what's behind this move in here through different elements. And, here's your stop run too. I mean, what more do
Yeah,
you need? But now you're understanding it, though, really, really nicely. And marking it up, and then like you can start to look for these things and look for those squeezes to unfold, and then is the more that you can start to understand the user or the traders behind the transactions in here, what their behavior is going to be. I mean, you'll be able to capture these moves.
yeah.
And
Especially when I see large stop runs, like within this there was two lots over 100, so
yeah,
when there's a quick move down, the sellers who didn't have stop losses, at their traps have volume on the bottom.
yeah,
I like you said, they're feeling the pain. Like it's I don't remember seeing like a lots of all green, but that's like I have a whole bunch of confluences here, which make me I
Okay.
got out. Listen, I had to manage the trade. I thought you see we have a yellow line and the red button, the red arrow is
where I see some
the left.
lots of red arrows.
Yeah, over there.
Which one?
I got it right there. I got out there because I wanted it to go up to the top, but then I saw it coming down, so I got out on that. You see that little down move? It's hiding underneath the green
Yeah,
logos.
sure. Yeah.
So I didn't. I don't know. I don't. And Nasdaq has, it moves fast. I didn't want to risk it, so I left some money on the table, even though it ended up going uh, to the top of the range, which I noted on the top first box. But it's okay. You're always gonna leave money on the table.
Yeah.
Someone else to pick up. Yes, good man.
Um,
I learned the hard way when you try and grab every single dollar, like it's a recipe for disaster. Like
Agreed, Alan. Yeah. Nice trading, Alan. Nice trading, sir. Good to see.
yeah. I just try and keep it simple. I don't know. I
Best
just
way.
and,
Best way.
it's- and
Kiss.
and like yeah, kiss, keep it simple, stupid. And like you always tell me, David, screen time,
Yeah.
and sometimes like I just intuitively, like just from watching it for thousands of hours, I just know what to expect
That's it.
to
Yeah.
happen next. Even though you still have to watch, but you kind of expect, like, okay, it's gonna go to the bottom range and it's gonna bounce up. It's gonna go to the bottom of the range and bounce up. I mean, that didn't work today, but
No, no. But it's I was talking about a little earlier on. It's that anticipation without being too bent out of shape of what you think should maybe happen. Then you're looking for that order flow. Bang, in you go. Yeah.
like I guess today, and I would look for a short squeeze. I guess I would have to, you know, take the loss because it just kept falling and falling and falling. I just couldn't believe it.
Brutal today. Brutal.
it is, and this behavior in here. I mean, this is today. So it is brutal. So this is something like, well, there's a few other things that kind of stood out to me in this image here. Here's Donkey's trade right here. He's looking for this move down. He's looking for this break, and then this move here. So I mean, you can see all sorts of stuff. God, we got Crash in here. Crash, I'm sure, sees all sorts of stuff in here as well. No market pulse, but anyway, what has been really on these kinds of days, like can be challenging, is understanding ranges. So here's a big range move here from here to here, right? And
Yeah,
then all of this, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, it's going to come up to the top of this range, and I'm going to short it, take it down if this is low volume in here, and then all of a sudden this happens.
and it's an iceberg at 104. I didn't circle a buy ice at 104 at the bottom. Yeah,
Yeah, here. And this is where you got to be really careful and kind of know your ranges, the possibilities in these ranges, because if you start to look at some of these ranges in here, from here to here, from here to here, and then look at the volatility back and forth. My God, I think this is a good exit, to be honest, Alan. Yeah, you do see the stop run in here, but we don't know that this is going to happen
yeah.
quite yet, but you're recognizing it. I don't really see it, to be honest. Like I'm not seeing a whole bunch of sellers in here. I don't know where. I guess they're over in here and they're still in it. I don't know, because we see a big stop run here, a little
All
one
stop runs. It's
here.
all stop run selling.
Yeah, and then a nice one here, like he had said. And then yeah, here's your time in sales as well. So yeah, anyway, no, I think it's yeah, a good area. Like we just, these kind of big swings like this, it could come all the way back down, and then it could
Yeah.
also continue. So
Yeah, I had a feeling it would because I figured it was a shallow pullback, a little profit taking, but whatever. It was enough of a move that get out of. I don't you don't have to
yeah, yeah.
wait for
The let's see here. Well, let's I got one more for you, but let's move on to Dune Runner. We haven't covered Dune Runner in a while, so I thought we'd go over him, and I think he's in. Yeah, he's in here. So
Thanks, Ted.
Dune Runner. Thanks, Alan.
Yeah, great stuff, Alan. Great stuff, buddy.
Dune Runner is he's trading Scott Pulcini's methods with stops and icebergs, and he's got Scott's zones in here, etc. So yeah, we see the buy ice on the way up here, and then he's getting in here, and notices the well, yeah, he's moving his stop up, and then yeah, he starts to notice price testing this area here 3 times, but ends up kind of failing here, and then he gets stopped out for a small loss on this one. Looks like you moved your stop a few times in here, even over here. Looks like you had it up here, and then moved it down. So I don't know if you want to walk us through this trade, Dune Runner. But here, yeah, I think Dan gave you the mic. Should have it here. I think I can give it to you. Yeah, try that. Huh. Okay. Anyway, um, you should be. I mean, I see a little hand on your icon, so you should be able to. We've invited you. Um, oh, there you go. Okay. Still seeing you muted on the mic, but
Okay, there we go. Yeah, it was on a different window. Sorry about that, guys.
there you are. There you are. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you. So
Yeah, walk us through the process here.
yeah, so what I was looking at there was had a bullish bias on the day there, had to buy ice, so went ahead and entered there, step number two. And as the normal thing is get more events, you move your stops up. And I think I was away from my screen when this was happening, and then by the time I come back, I've already missed four where it was kind of pinging a couple of times. I saw it on another chart and I tried to get back to my order and adjust it down. And that's why on number 5 you see that line going up where I'm trying to move the stop up. I was
Here.
trying to pull the stop up to exit the order, and it had already moved past where I placed the stop, so it just rejected the order and just drew that straight line up and down.
I see.
So now I'm getting frustrated. I'm going on tilt a little bit. So I'm just like, so I wiggle the stop down just a little bit to hope that it, for whatever reason, goes back the other direction, and it doesn't. But it's going back after, I got a clear head and looking at it. I see those 3 spots there, the tag number 4, which was, the top of a inflection zone. There was also a little bit higher up was a red lug, which is a resistance space. So there was a lot of reason to get out. You can even see a little bit of market pulse popping right above my text box on the bottom there. That green little
here
coming up.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And that's price change algo. So yeah, I mean, it would have been a better trade, but I didn't execute it properly. But it set up nice. It showed signs where I should have got out, and I just flubbed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this is pretty nice. Like you said, it can't get through here. You got
Right.
your Scott's zone, and there's a lug up here. You see high liquidity up here as well.
Yep.
It can't
Yeah.
get it shies away from it. Not enough buyers, and then we're kind of looking then for that transition again. Like here you got your buyers, here's your low volume in here, and then your sellers are coming in here.
Right.
Typically, we see it a little bit better than that. I guess you do see it here actually. It's kind of hard. It's in the wrong tool here. Yeah, I mean you do kind of see it here actually on this test up in here, and then the sellers starting to come in here. Now it's not a whole lot, but due to the lack of buying in here, this is starting to look pretty good. And then you can see like Scott calls them snakes, but the sweep tool here. You see your 3 dots in here. black dots, and that's the sweep tool. This is the shift, right? This is the seller shifting away, trying to move away. Here's the buyers moving up, here's the sellers moving it down, and this is what creates a lot of the market structure we talk about. So, like for example, up here, you got your structure here, and then here, right? So it kind of bounces around, and then here's your another sweep here, moving that market away. Anyway, I just wanted to point out some of the shifts and etc.
Yeah, so the black sweeps tend to be bearish inherently, and the whites are the buyers coming in, right?
Yeah. So this is a sweep to the upside, and then sweep to the downside.
Yeah.
I like I really appreciate it. You do this a lot. You show winners and losers, and mistakes that you made, and then learning from them. So tilt, you mentioned down here, and try to get out here. It rejected, and you're like, okay, well maybe I can still kind of hold on and save this, and didn't happen. But you still, it's kind of it's a small loser. It's not it's nothing really big, but still I can understand the frustration after seeing this nice move to the upside.
Yeah, and like I said, on number 5 there, I even tried to, I saw what was happening, and I wanted out of it right there, and I didn't go, because I don't know, and this is something I need to work on. I think other people do it differently. So when I'm trying to exit a trade, I tend to move my stop and let myself stop out instead of just closing the trade.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Is it better just to say, okay, I'm happy here, just exit? I know the
I just hit
previous
flatten.
was just talking about, okay, it was a short move, but I was happy with it, so I just took it. Where
Yeah.
I tend to move my stops and say, well, maybe it'll go a little more. Let me just put it to where I want to make sure I don't go below, instead of and I tend to always leave a few points on the table doing that.
Yeah, I mean, this is where, well, if you start to see something that you don't like, it doesn't fit your criteria, or it's the opposite, then I just hit flatten a lot of times. I'm out. Like, this is not what I want. This is not what I'm looking for. I'm out. And I'll wait for the next one.
I think I need to get better at that.
But it's great though. You're managing your stops, and this one kind of, unfortunately, ran through it like that pretty quickly. Yeah, flatten will cancel all open orders as well. Close the position and then cancel any open orders. It's just the obliterate button. It's nice, how you're going through your process in here. There's actually, I'll kind of go over this quickly and I'll open up for David, but there's a few things in here that kind of things to consider. For example, so a lot of times, and we, like I said, we might even want to open up the mic for Crash, get him in here. Because this is crude, but this is crude oil. This is not NQ, but these kinds of moves like this is very, very typical. Gold, Jesus, gold does it. NQ, crude oil, other more volatile markets, they'll sweep through these areas and then pull back. Happens a lot, and you're entering on that strong. It's a strong move, but a lot of times these sweeps are stop runs, and the volume pressure imbalance or volume pressure as well. A lot of times you'll see it as capitulation. It's not the start of a big move, it's the end of a big move. So look at your market structure and then wait for that to happen and look for a pullback potentially. So either get in before the sweep happens or wait for a pullback after the sweep. Something to consider.
Right. Yeah. Typically, my entries are so defined just based off the HER that it's. I mean, you can see where I was waiting for it for a little bit, and then it sweeps up and dings it, and then goes back. And I'm just like, ah, all right, here we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I mean, then you can start to look for where there might be support. And you can see it like, I mean, we can see the market structure pretty clearly here, and then here. And then here, and then we already covered that one over there. You can start to look for, well, okay, buyers sweep. What are the sellers doing down here? Is there high liquidity in here? Do we get a pocket? You get exhaustion here. There's not a whole lot of buying, but and you actually do get some sellers down here. So it does look like we may dump back down here, but instead it looks like we get another massive sweep here to the upside, and we find those buyers, and it's probably this is probably a pretty big stop run, and with that amount of sweeps, this is the biggest. No, this is the biggest sweep over here, but this is like the next one, I think. Maybe equal to that one, but anyway, it's a big sweep, and it's a big move too, yeah. So and again, you can see here's sweep. It swept a little bit more, and then it just chopped, the whole time.
I think that was over 500 sweeps right there on that one. It says 425 right above it, but I think
you're right.
You're right. On the sub chart, it was almost 500. So that's what triggered that zone.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. So actually, you've got it here 774, and you got your stop run here of 425. And after something like that, kind of let the dust settle, and see what happens, because a lot of times, especially with these more volatile markets, we'll see the pullback, and you can get a not feel the pain, like Donkey always says he hates the heat, taking the heat. And then it's order flow. You're looking for your order flow events down in here, or in here, for example. That's just something that I kind of saw here. David, I don't know if you saw anything you wanted to cover.
A little bit, yeah, because this is a trade I'm actually still carrying on a short side, because it was that stop run, as you've highlighted, and the ice going the other way, typical 101 Scott stuff, that really was the trigger. Also, for me, it's been a peach of late, really, Bruce. It's been rotating sort of $1 swings up and down and so forth, and we'd had a real rally from ETH through to RTH. So I was looking for the shorts. It's nice to see Scott Zones coming out and sort of chiming with, I think, some of Tom's market profile witchcraft from a few days back. And so seeing that great stops and ices kicking in then was, that trigger. Where is the short, plus that sort of dollar move. And the rest sort of was history. Of course, at the same time, as we know, the indices were going south as well. So the whole thing was sort of starting to be bearish. So that's the main thing that I'd add, really.
Yeah.
That's a macro point, really.
Yeah. I mean, on this time frame, we don't really know. And Dune Runner's looking at he's trading Scott's methods.
Yeah.
So we don't have the higher time frame, but
that's okay. Yeah.
But
and later on, so if it, I always say it's not about me, then I'm bang on about it. But I ran that down then into after lunch, and you'll have seen it doing running. You've got sort of like 1,300 ice on the bid came in, and that was like a good signal to tighten your stops or take some off. So really good. I'm signing in Bookmap sell mode here, Bruce, but the ice really working brilliantly here with a couple of other conferences, a bit of witchcraft, great trading ability on the black crack, as I call it.
Yeah.
If you go to the next picture on this trade, it does show the exit a little more zoomed in for the time frame, but that won't show the sweeps up.
I don't know if this was the next one here, or this was a different image altogether. I think
Different trade.
this is different trade altogether. Yeah.
Alan's.
Oh shoot, I'm sorry, Dune Runner. I don't have it. But um, see if I can maybe find it quickly.
Great trading, Dune Runner. Well done, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done. Have you been finding oil? I know it's a bit of glib remark. We're saying it's been a peach. Have you been finding it easier of late, or?
No, it's been all hit or miss. I'm
Okay.
still trying to find my way. And it seems like there's I'm not going to call it manipulation, but there's a lot of time
Or
where you see all the order flow come in at once, and then it all disappears, all the liquidity, and it's
Mhm.
just it's kind of hard to do it. But if I get the zones, I'm gonna go ahead and try it.
yeah. There's some real in that minutia. It just flips around, as you say. Literally nothing's happening in terms of bid and ask, and yet the price can skip around sort of 50 cents. As an exaggeration. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So here I've got the that second
Perfect.
image. Was there something you wanted to mention in here in particular?
No, not for me. You were just asking about the closer time frames.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, so it shows that there, but it shows where the exit where I tried to. By the time I let go, you can see where it had already scooted past it, and then with those big sweeps down.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, it is. One thing that is kind of curious in here is I mean, you see some of the liquidity in here, but it does not trade up into that high liquidity. It really was scared away from this higher liquidity up here around 78.50. Buyers try, they try again, nothing, and then sellers just someone comes in and dumps, moves the price down to the
yeah, it would
bottom
have
of
been
the
interesting if
range.
I had the order book pressure on at that time, just to see what games were getting played right there. I gotta imagine something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, this is pretty classic stuff. The sweep up, sweep down, away from it, and then it accepts below that area here, as you can see. That's what creates Scott's zone. In fact, yeah, good stuff.
Heck of a rundown today in oil, though. If you were trading that,
What's that?
oil was a heck of a rundown today. It was a
Yeah.
nice.
I didn't
Real.
trade it, but anyway, the image I got here was another NQ. If there was anything you wanted to comment on this, or maybe you have something from today that you wanted to go over. Yeah, I don't see. You don't have another image, Dune Runner, do you, of today? Crude oil.
No, that one was a couple days ago. That
Okay.
was
Okay.
a Monday trade.
Okay. So here's where you I don't know, entered or covered. I'm not sure. Buy stop. And here's your sweep.
Yeah, this was an enter short, so it kind of came
Nice.
in there. So I didn't want to enter right where you normally would at that maroon line as it came down, because there was that previous zone there. So I entered a little bit lower, but then it rotated on me a couple of times, and then I ended up could have reversed out. So typically we say if it hits that 2 times ATR a couple of times, then if it comes back through the zone, it's usually going to keep moving that way.
Yeah.
So the appropriate move would have been to close it out as it crossed through the zone and even reverse at that point. So that's just what I was pointing out on that trade.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
You picked two of my losers this week.
Sorry about that.
I did actually have a couple winners, but yeah, I like to show them both. I don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, this is something. I mean, we can kind of relate this back to Alan's a little bit here. I mean, at least a takeaway for me from NQ is how it relates so well to liquidity. So here it trades into high liquidity and bounces pretty nicely.
Right.
So and they're still here. I mean, they kind of people were up in front of it here and never went much into this liquidity down below. And then yeah, then that was it. It just rotated for a while before it went back up. Yeah. Anyway, it's
Yeah, I think
something
what
to
I was trying to
consider.
share on that one was just the double bounce off the zone, and then the third time it pushes through.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
always be on the lookout for that. Sometimes I'm so focused on trying to find out where the short is and getting frustrated. It's like, okay, here's an opportunity to flip.
Yeah. And this too. I mean, like here we've got high liquidity up here. It trades into it now. Here's your stop run, right? Through it. Here you can see the spike here underneath your purple as well.
Right.
There's a couple of stop runs in here. So you got that, but then it totally fails. It does not accept above it. This is a nice signal actually. If it doesn't accept it and you start to see the sellers down here, there's your shooting star. That's what it would look like basically in your candle, and then you've got to move lower. Yeah, these I really like your usage of the sweeps tool. Pretty nice. Together with stops and icebergs. So anyway, let's see. That's everything I have. I know that we didn't get to a lot of guys today. And we've got a nice group in today, and you know, I feel kind of bad. You know, sorry. Let's see. Crash, Robbed, Valley Fan, DNT. Well, DNT, we've covered you the last few weeks in a row, and also Robbed. But CMJ, we covered you a few weeks ago, but you weren't in. Rubicon Trader, it's been a while. Stephen, we covered you, but you weren't on the mic. JZ and other guys. Would love to, cover you all. Robbed or Rob as well, and some of the new guys coming in here have also put some really nice images into the Discord chat. So sorry to, we don't have a whole lot of time. We've already gone an hour and a half over these images so far. So all I can say is just we do look at the spreadsheets. JMK, another one. So make sure you fill out your spreadsheets. We will then, click on the images or the link that you put in there, and then that's how we cover them. All right. So it's important to go through and that process. I would just suggest keep a tab open, that spreadsheet tab open in your browser when you post an image or your markups. Just copy the link from Discord and put it in, or from YouTube, or from wherever it is, Twitter or whatever, and just plop it in there, put a date on it. That's it. That's all you need to do for your spreadsheet. And then we can go through it. So anyway, guys, let me see if there's any other questions, or if there's anything in particular we can go over.
While you check that, Bruce, if I can just quick comment on oil. I know when I've been posting some of my CL posts within Spotgam, my eyebrows go up, and oh, bloody hell, it's David and the oil. And I did do a couple of posts on MCL, showing there's some really good liquidity within MCL. And if you're on the wrong side of an MCL trade, you're not going to lose your face completely. And on these sort of swing moves I've touched on, a dollar move here, dollar move there, it can be quite a nice little trade. So if you haven't looked at MCL as a future, traders, could be worth just putting that up as a tab before getting into the big CL one, the big girls trade.
Yeah, sounds good. Another thing too, like we're doing this every day. We'll take a lot of the images from Discord or wherever, and we will post them into Insights. So you guys might see your images up here. Here's Alan's, for example, from today, and Here's one that Dan found of Robert Rother. Nice one. Cuesta Mundo is another one, new guy in here. So we've got him in here. Here's DNT. And then Caesar, really nice one in here, Caesar. This is the kind of stuff we just love. I mean, to be able to see so visually high liquidity, the reaction, buyers up to high liquidity. Now a little bit through it, but look at the order book in here. Beautiful stuff. I mean, being absorbed, and then look at the now. This is similar to Stan's image when we first covered in this webinar. We don't really see this in here in Stan's, but we do see the move up, and then we see the order book shift in the auction, right? And then we just kind of are bouncing around until we get another shift. And you can kind of see another shift starting to kind of emerge right here, right? And you can see sellers react to it. Yeah, these kinds of things are really interesting. And this is where, you can, this can be your 1, 2, 3 pattern in here, or this could be your, your checklist in here. I need to see high liquidity. I need to see the reaction to it. And then I can start to look for where my target might be, kind of thing. Some really simple stuff, but can be really powerful because, I mean, this is what moves the market. It's the orders. And here we have the orders. We have the order flow on the bid and on the offer, and we have the reaction to it by the aggressor. Do they trade and with them in these areas, right? You'll see it again and again and again. Also, what he's talking about in here is absorption, which is nice. I don't know, Caesar, if you're in here, do you want to get on the mic and maybe talk a little bit about that? See if I don't know if you're in. I think you are. You were in earlier, I think. Okay, yeah, I don't see you now. Was in earlier, yeah, okay. Well, anyway, I just there's just to recap. You guys are making some really great images, and I'd love to cover them all. And we have to select a few and then go through them. I'm really it warms my heart to see this, a lot of the work, and a lot of it really good work. Yeah, thank you all, and then keep it up. I think we got some good momentum in here, and some of you guys are really starting to do quite well. Rob Valley fan, Rob Davis, some really nice images. DNT. Crash, of course. Crash has been doing that for a while, and Steven, some really great stuff. So keep up the good work. We'll get to you and cover it in here, and maybe have to do, I don't know, more sessions or something. So anyway, thanks guys. Thanks David. David, I want to give you the last word. Thanks for all the coaching, and we'll round it out here.
Pleasure. I just echo what you've said, Bruce. Really appreciate everyone taking their time to do this, and to reiterate the point. We do get, as coaches, we rightly get chased. Dan sends us stuff, Bruce sends us stuff, said, oh, David, look at this, Jack, look at that, and we do. So really appreciate you guys taking the time to do it. It's well worth it. And thank you for spending the time this post close with us as well. I appreciate it. All here together to learn.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great Memorial holiday weekend. Actually, yeah, I am off tomorrow, as well as Monday, and Tuesday morning I'm off. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it for the webinar or not. I just wanted to let you guys know. Extended weekend here. Markets are closed on Monday. So enjoy your time off, everybody, and we'll catch up with you next Thursday. Right? Yeah.
Sounds great.
Excellent.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Stay safe. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Thanks again.